The garden provides me with a wonderfully nurturing experience every year. What's really great about it is that we start over fresh.
Well, we have to redefine the individual garden plots. After the county tills, they till the whole area. And so we have to restake out the individual plots.
Plant more than you harvest. Give the earth all that it needs.
What do you got? 77, you say?
Back that way.
This land was used by the El Paso County Poor Farm for a dairy farm and garden as early as 1900, so it's been in production for over 100 years. The garden sits in a beautiful flat valley where the soil has been amended for a long time. Those early gardeners at the Poor Farm actually bucketed water from Bear Creek that runs through the property. In 1976, the county established a community garden at the Poor Farm. But after 8 years, they found it hard to manage and were about to close it when gardener Charmaine Nyman, for whom the garden is now named, stepped up and proposed that the gardeners manage the garden themselves. The Bear Creek Garden Association was formed, and the gardeners have run the garden ever since with generous support from the El Paso County Parks Department. It's the oldest and largest community garden in the Pikes Peak region and possibly in southern Colorado.
I first came to the community gardens in 1980. I mean, I can remember gardening since I was a little girl. I can remember going back home to the valley and just driving from Fort Garland all the way to back into the town of San Luis, where I remember just seeing rows and rows and acres of lettuce and spinach and carrots. It was just something that was always a part of my life.
We learned about it within a few weeks of moving here over 30 years ago, and we were able to get a half plot that very year, and so we've been gardening here ever since.
When I first heard about this back in 1976, I was living in the North End with trees and fences and house shade, and when I came to Bear Creek, I could not believe how things would grow.
I have a full plot, which is 20 by 40, and a half plot, 20 by 20. So I have so much more produce than I could eat at home. And I'm an elementary school principal. So I take bags and bags of fresh produce to school. I usually get there about 7:30 and it's gone by 8. So everybody knows when Rose brings in vegetables, it's gone. I think that really makes me feel good.
Everybody loves the garden. That's here, that's put in their membership, they all love it. So nobody's out here complaining, well, maybe the little ones, but no one's out here complaining or, this is all volunteer hours. We're not getting paid for this, and we just enjoy doing it, and we'll do it. We love it so much, we do it for free.
I first began at the community gardens when I saw a sign that said garden plots available, because for previous years, I assumed there were no plots available.
We got started offering a class before the garden opens in the spring, really aimed at people who intend to garden at Bear Creek, because a lot of people who move to this area have gardened in other parts of the country where the conditions are somewhat more benign. Mike Estes from Rick's Garden Center comes every year and brings examples of the kinds of products that we can use in our garden to control pests and for fertilizer that are still within the boundaries of our organic garden.
Come to the community garden, where every plant grows up just fine. Come to the community garden, where everyone has a good time.
So we shall be learning in our first year garden.
Yes. Yeah, it's a trial and error. Yeah, I guarantee if you get through this season and come back, and we hope you do, you'll do a few things differently next season based on what you learned this year.
It's an adventure, and I like food, and let's have an adventure making some food. And these two talked me into it, so I can't say no.
It's really fascinating and lots of fun, and right now it's so peaceful here. I came for the first time 2 days ago, and there was only maybe one person here, and the birds were singing, and I was all alone, and I stepped into the soil, and I could go down 2 inches because it's all loamy from the tilling. This is lovely, very peaceful.
Go ahead. You can get your shovel, but you don't have to dig now. You can wait. We're teaching Jackson to walk on the paths so he doesn't step on all the new seeds. Today is Jackson's first day gardening. Your dinosaurs helping? Mm-hmm. Good. Mommy found a big worm.
I want to see a big worm.
Go ahead.
I want to put it on my hand.
Okay, but then we're gonna leave him alone after that, okay? Because he's trying to get down into the dirt.
Ooh, he is big! Daddy, that's big!
He is big.
We have people who are very, very structured in the way they approach their plot. Everything's laid out in rows and very precise.
I designed this board where if you plant 9 things, you can just take a square foot and then put bolts through it, and then you have your holes already designed, and then you just kind of wiggle a little bit, and at least you've got your spacing.
And other people are very casual.
I have great friends here, great solitude here. And once the lettuce starts and the radishes and the onions and parsley and all that stuff, I just don't buy any of it in the stores.
People need to be outside with their hands in the dirt, in the ground, digging and growing things. Some people are very focused on different varieties of plants. They get really into the botany of it and save seeds and learn about heirloom plants and are very proud of having something different from what other people have. Other people are really focused a lot on the wildlife out there.
Look at there it is.
Oh, the rabbit.
Typically, we all spend a tremendous amount of time in the early spring, and I'm really talking about the month of May, to get the garden started.
You have to work hard with your shovel. You have to work hard with your hoe. You have to hope it rains just a little. You have to hope it doesn't snow.
It hailed at our house day before yesterday, and we don't live that far away from here. Now is the delicate part. So there we are. It will not hail all summer now.
If you do it at your home, it's more like work. If you do it out here, it's a social event.
Yeah.
Seems to be. Feels that way anyway.
Gardening is a lot different here. The tomatoes in Maryland grow like trees. Here you have to baby them, you have to use wells of water, you have to, take the suckers off and trim the tops. It's just a lot of things you have to do to keep your tomatoes alive or produce.
I work in an office all day, so I get up early and try to come work on this. But
When you're trying to get something to come up from seed, you really got to water it and keep it moist. Once it's up and you can put some straw mulch around it, you don't have to water as often, and you don't have to weed as much.
You better get a neighbor to help you if you go away on vacation. Everything you do depends on him and you, and everything demands your attention.
My grandparents immigrated here from Sweden in 1881, and they brought with them a bag of Swedish brown beans. These beans have been planted on their farm and now throughout the country by our relatives every year since 1881. In this garden we have a lot of bean beetles, so what we do is we cover it with the sun cloth, and every year we plant the beans and then we hold back some of our seed for the coming year.
The garden really is a lovely community of people, and some of them have been there virtually since the garden started. I think our people who've been there the longest have been there 35 to 38 years, and that's a long time in anybody's life to be doing the same activity. They've all gotten to know each other. Some of them have been on the board multiple times, and they are generally very generous, spirited people.
The most rewarding thing is getting to work with him, because we're busy and we don't always have a lot of time together, or when we do, we have a large extended family that we're blessed to have, but this is something that he and I do, and so it's rewarding to just spend the time and to learn and to have that bond between us to do that.
Sometimes when I'm feeling negative, more negative than normal, I say community gardens are like a bad tenement. You don't have a hallway across. You only have 24 inches over to somebody who, they aren't cooking garlic or whatever upsets you. But if they don't take care of their bugs or don't take care of their weeds, you got them, because there's only 24 inches.
I first started coming here, the house I was renting, the soil was really poor. So I found out about this garden, so I decided to try it out, and I've been here 3 years now.
I garden just because I enjoy getting my hands dirty and getting down in the earth, and to me it's therapeutic, and I feel like I'm accomplishing something.
No, I'm an engineer, but right now I'm stay-home mom. So the garden is my escape.
My first reason is nutrient density. I'm after food to eat that increases my health.
After more of a high-stress, indoor all-day kind of job, it's nice to get out here and breathe the fresh air. You get a beautiful view. Probably one of the more beautiful parts of the town is right in here, so it all comes together here.
It's a big sky out there, so you look up and you see the sun rise and you see the storm coming in from the mountains. It's a very almost spiritual place.
We've never had grasshoppers until a year ago.
If you put your hand up next to them, they'll jump. But if you put these scissors there, the sun's hitting them, and they really are fascinated by the reflection of the silver on it. I take the scissors and I just slowly go up to them, around their neck, and I snap.
You could ever figure out how to cook them. And I have jokingly told we have our potluck, annual potluck, on the 23rd of this month, 22nd of this month. And I keep telling people that we have a $20 gift certificate, good for reduction in next year's rent, for whoever has the most nutritious / tasty grasshopper recipe. We have garter snakes, lots of those. They eat grasshoppers. They don't get very large. And then we have a bull snake or gopher snake. I don't know which is, whether they're the same, and bull snake is just, but that's over 4 feet long, and it looks like a rattler, but it isn't. But it freaks people out when they see it, because it doesn't announce its arrival until you reach down to pull a weed and find its resting place to get out of the heat for the day. But it's huge, and Karen published in our newsletter, don't chop the head off of that. It's a beneficial reptile.
Are you really gonna stay in this? Oh, you are brave.
Lucky, I think, to spend a Saturday morning here and today, and it feels very productive with all these, now that the vegetables are coming up, and giant pumpkins, like all the hard work is finally paying off. So, yeah, it's a great way to start a day, for sure.
My old line is, gardening is cheaper than therapy and more fun. I like 3-bean salad. Actually, we've harvested 4 kinds. Green beans, yellow beans, flat Italian beans, and purple beans. So I'm looking forward to eating those.
So that's something that we really focus in on out here and as well as at home, is trying to build a community around food, healthy, organic, nutritious food. And so that's the greatest part that we have coming out here, is that we're helping support our community by growing these food, helping the bee population by providing them an escape from pesticides and GMOs.
What's my favorite crop? One that people tell me I can't grow that here. Not because it's illegal, but because you can't grow seedless watermelon. Well, we did last year. You can't grow sweet corn, sweet potatoes, but we did. Damn gophers ate them all, though. Gophers like sweet potatoes. I can verify a lot of things.
Anything darker color has a lot of antioxidant. If you look over there, the red leaf lettuce will have more antioxidants.
We plant 2 crops. We plant early in May, and then we harvest up until August, and then we plant again in July. And we harvest that all the way until October, when we have to clean up and get up out of here.
Feel good when you know what's in your food and what's going into your body and things like that. You feel good knowing that there's not synthetic chemicals or, pesticides or things that, we don't always know about that go into the process of growing the vegetables. So that's something that I think is really huge, knowing what's going into your body.
We usually grow three or four rows of carrots. We used to have a dog that loved carrots. He would sit on the floor near the dining room table, and he got to have a carrot.
This is my time of fellowship. I can see the mountain. I can sit here and I can just put my hand in the soil. The sun is coming up and stuff, and I'm just an old Southern Baptist Christian, and I just enjoy this. Putting my hand in the dirt, having some time to myself to do this during the course of the day and stuff. I try to think about what I want to do later. I'll come out occasionally in the evening stuff, but I needed this while I was going through my treatment, and it's helped me a lot.
This is my husband Ray. He does a lot of volunteer work for the garden. Throughout the summer, he does a lot of work going down there and weeding and watering.
So when about his age, my mom's had this garden plot, and we've been here forever since. And so we just come and help her out when we can and stuff. And she's been here, and she's been on the board for many years, and so it always brings back childhood memories for us. It's been here for so long.
I grew all these peppers from seed at home. There's probably about 50 plants, so I have poblanos and jalapenos and some other varieties. The plants are different, the flowers are different. Here's another one that's kind of interesting, these little teeny tiny peppers sticking up right here. I grow so many more peppers than I need, but I just can't hold back. It becomes an obsession.
It was awesome.
Fun. I had no idea this is what gardens really did.
My fridge was full of literally trash bags, full of kale and chard and all these greens.
Right.
It's kind of overwhelming.
It is.
Yay! There's one. There's another one. Oh my God! It's not too late, is it? I'm excited. There's another one. I told my wife none of them. They're everywhere.
Harmonious unity, organic community, garden experience today. Radishes, kohlrabi, green beans, and broccoli. Garden experience today.
Nice carrot.
Can I pull one, Mommy, and hold one?
To go next.
What we're nurturing is not just vegetables, which you could get at the farmer's market. It's being out here, being part of the process and the community and loving the soil. Just loving having your hands in the earth and watching things grow.
So maybe the stroke was fortuitous, because I moved down here because I couldn't be in a house, 2-floor house, 3-car garage, backyard, the normal, whatever normal is. So I was negatively proactive. I thought, well, if I've had a stroke, who knows what the future holds. So, but 7 years later, I'm here to tell about it. And gardening is, you know, if I would lose gardening, and then I would really be in trouble. But so far not. I have some issues from the stroke, and when I start to feel sorry for myself, I say, Dave, you could be in a nursing home drooling, waiting for somebody come change my diaper. That snaps me right out of it. Hell, you ain't got no problems, Dave.
And so all of this gets cut up and placed into a salad, and we give it to the needy and the homeless. We feed, we help through the Colorado Springs Food Rescue, and then we donate to a church called Revival of the Way Ministries. And they do with the rest of it however they see fit. You know, they put it in the food pantry, hand it out, use it at the church meetings, whatever. And they just go ahead, and everybody's able to be blessed by this food that we grow here. And because it's just so much, we get so much of it that some people donate to the zoo, to the Care and Share. And so we're able to help a lot of people by just coming out here and doing something that we all enjoy to do anyway.
Feels good. It's all organic, and we're going to be sharing a lot of this with our neighbors, of course, because we've got way too many zucchini and other veggies.
Is that right? I don't know if it's because it's a cleanup day or everybody's just trying to play catch up with the rains and the weeds and everything else and watering. So, what do you think it up? 10:30. 10:30? Okay. Sandy's going to take a few because she's going to take it to the women's shelter. But if you want to check the Care and Share plot, I have summer squash in there.
Hello, neighbor, the season's almost done. Come and share our healthy harvests in the setting sun.
We have people who've been running a zoo plot for years now. And last summer, 3,500 pounds of produce went to the zoo. Not all of it from that plot, because gardeners bring additional produce to put on the zoo truck when it comes down in the fall to pick up every week.
Corn stalks are actually cool. We use the corn stalks as enrichment for our Red River hogs and our lions. So that's kind of a fun use that you wouldn't think of. Our bears can have them, our large cats get them up in Conservation Highlands, so corn stalks have a lot of use for us.
Yeah.
With all of this stuff.
That's the last of it, though, unless somebody walks up quickly.
These tomatoes are for the food rescue people, Colorado Springs Food Rescue, who pick up every Saturday morning from the garden.
The garden produce always goes first at grocery programs just because it's like so fresh and healthy, and they're like, what is this vegetable? Like, how'd you get this? Like, I can tell it's not store-bought. This is really cool.
We are so excited about this program, and just to be able to contribute not just food to people, but fresh and healthy food. Folks here are so happy to get that.
I remember Shar showing me 2 or 3 bluebirds sitting on a fence in September, I think it was, and she said, oh, they'll be coming through. They're the mountain bluebirds, and they aren't here all summer. They're in the mountains, but we get flocks of them here coming through in the fall.
Yeah. Everybody keeps coming in saying it's supposed to start raining and snowing tomorrow.
That's a pretty guy. I don't know if I can keep him on there or not. Oh, that is not going to work. You could not go. All right, here I go. I don't have to go to the gym today.
Everybody talks about how fall is a very satisfying time in a way, but it's also sort of a sad time as you see things coming to an end. But I love the cycle of it, and we want to be closed when the goats come because we want the goats to overnight in the garden.
I think this is 18th consecutive year. So these goats are part of the social fabric of Bear Creek Park and the gardens. We got started coming here because the county had sprayed pesticides, and the drift of the pesticides drifted in and killed their organic vegetables. And that's when they came and got me. It was Shar Nyman in 1999. And the goats are the tool. The goats, this is 50,000 pounds of living energy that eats these things and recycles everything right in place, and then that organic matter is trampled right back into the soil where it can do some good.
When I first came to the community garden, I thought it was all about the vegetables. But over time, I've come to realize that it's really about community. Our gardeners make friends with each other, teach each other, support each other, nurture each other. And they reach out into the community and give to the community.
Plant more than you harvest. Give the earth all that it needs. The earth all that it needs. One, two, three, four. Harmonious unity, organic community, garden experience today. Artichokes, amaranth, spinach, and kale plants, garden experience today. Radishes, kohlrabi, green beans, and broccoli, garden experience today.